We are back on the ML Sports Platter, brought to you by our good friends at Rosie's Corner and RV Source of Central New York. I bring him on, one of the best in the business, great play-by-play man, and of course, the voice of the Toronto Blue Jays on Sportsnet TV. And pretty soon, some college hoops on ESPN. We look forward to those games as well. Dan Shulman, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. When did you realize during this season that the Blue Jays were here to stay and, hey, division champion perhaps?
Yeah, they didn't start great. They were under 500 near the end of May, and then they really got it going in June. So in June, we started saying, are they better than we think? They keep winning these series. You know, they beat San Diego. They swept St. Louis. They swept Seattle, I believe. But it was probably around the end of June, early July. The Yankees came in for a 4-game series in Toronto. The Blue Jays were 3 games back beginning that 4-game series and swept the series. So at the end of the series, they took over first and they haven't relinquished it since. So I'd say really kind of right around the end of June, early July when they swept that series from the Yankees.
Who is it in that lineup that kind of allows the rest of the layers to kind of get going, right? Because it's a deep, decent lineup, average in power. It's easy to say it's Springer or Vlad, but is it somebody else who kind of sets the tone layer-wise in a lineup where it really gets contagious because they can hit?
I think George Springer's the key. I think he's been the MVP of the team this year. He didn't have a great year last year. He's turning 36 today, actually, this Friday. Right now is his 36th birthday, and he is having an extraordinary season. I think he's been the key. Guerrero's had a good year, but he's so good that you always wonder, is there more? I'd say by his standards, a good year, not a great year. Bo Bichette was having a great productive season, driving in runs, but now he's on the IL. Addison Barger becoming a full-time big leaguer, first full major league season. He's been great. Alejandro Kirk's had a great year. And then kind of the secret sauce is the so-called complementary players, Nathan Lucas and Ernie Clement and Davis Schneider and Miles Straw and Tyler Heineman. And I know I'm forgetting one or two, but they've all done their part. There are times we look on the field and say, all 9 of these guys are positive. They're all contributing to this team in many ways. So it starts with Springer, but it really is the depth of the roster that's helped them the most.
And they play fundamentally and really good defense. And if you talk to a lot of national people, you get the sense that the Blue Jays, maybe it is the flag that flies through Toronto in the AL this year because there's a hole here, a hole there with some other teams, and those holes are pitching. But Dan, the Blue Jays, I mean, no hole with pitching with this club, right? I mean, they have got the arms to go the distance.
I think so. They're not, bulletproof, I wouldn't say. Kevin Gausman's pitching very well, and I think he would be their number 1 starter. Shane Bieber, who they got in a trade at the deadline while he was still on the IL, I think he would be their number 2 starter. I think there are some questions beyond that. Would it be Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer? Jose Barrios is having a tough year by his standards. And then they've got a very exciting rookie, Trey Savage, who's only made 1 major league start. It was great in Tampa against the Rays. He'll start Sunday in Kansas City against the Royals. So a little bit of uncertainty kind of at the back end of the bullpen for the playoffs, back end of the rotation, for the playoffs. The bullpen can be very good, but it's had its ups and downs. I think it'll be fine. But overall, the offense has carried this team more than the pitching has carried this team this year. But they've got a lot of veteran guys, a lot of guys who have done it before. And I think the way I feel about the American League is there's no superpower. I think the Blue Jays can beat any team in the playoffs, but I think they can be beaten by any team in the playoffs. I mean, Seattle can string together a bunch of great starters. The Yankees, if they're playing poorly, aren't that good, but if they're playing great, they can beat anybody. Who knows what Boston is going to be like? Detroit's really struggling right now, but for most of the year, they were maybe the best team in the American League. So I think it's wide open in the American League.
I would agree with that. In the final minute I have you, most people stateside, you say Canada and it's immediately hockey and it's that, but the Blue Jays are the national team. I mean, people love their Blue Jays. I mean, when they're hot and they're playing well, you're in it. You see it all the time. When those crowds get wild north of the border, Toronto, Canada, it's not just in Toronto. As people come to Toronto from all sorts of areas in the country, right? When the Blue Jays are right, boy, Canada really buying in here. It must be pretty fun because the whole country is in this thing.
It is. We really have a unique situation. We're very lucky to cover a team that is as popular as this team is. There are 40 million people in Canada, and there are fans of this team from Newfoundland in the east to British Columbia in the west and everywhere in between. The TV ratings, and it's got nothing to do with me, it's got to do with how popular they are monstrous, like just huge television ratings. You're right. People from across the country will come to Toronto for a weekend and see the team, just like they will in New York and Chicago and LA and other places like that. But they are a hugely popular team. When the Blue Jays go to Seattle, the crowd is mostly Canadians, mostly, like probably 60 to 70%. When they go to Minnesota, Cleveland, Detroit, a ton of Canadians. Not the majority, but I bet you 25% of the crowd is probably Canadians. And we see them everywhere. We see them in Boston and New York. We see them in Florida. We see them in California. We'll see some in Kansas City this weekend. It's really fun. One of the things that I like the most is doing games that matter to people, and Blue Jay games matter to a lot of people. So that's fun.
No doubt about it. Sportsnet Toronto Blue Jays voice, Dan Shulman, of course. You can hear him soon also on ESPN doing the college hoops as well on Twitter as well. Go give him a follow on the X. And he loves his dogs. He loves his baseball and his basketball. And it's just a treat to have you on. You know how much I love listening and watching, and huge respect for you in the business as well. It's all brought to you by Rosie's Corner and RV Source of Central New York. Don't forget to buy, sell, rent, store, and more with RV Source. Dan, thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you this fall and winter in Central New York. Take care.
Appreciate the kind words, Mike. Thank you.